Oh, hey you. Trevor. Well, what do you know?
This sign could use a fresh coat of paint. Blank surfaces don't stay that way for very long around here.
What, you have graffiti artists? Door, so maybe I can go in there.
Ah, the chum. You can never truly get away from it as much as you may try.
Trevor Hastings, is that you?
Why, Detective Fordham. Fancy seeing you again. What brings you down to the docks?
I'm trying to track down a serial murderer, who I believe is the same man who was breaking into the flower shop.
You don't say. I wish I could help you, but the guy never came back after the night you and your partner came around. Where is your partner anyway?
Oh, he's around.
Well, give him my regards. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get this crate back, or Cecilia will have my head on a platter.
Of course. Good seeing you again.
He's around? That's probably the most clever thing you've said in months. Well done.
What, you didn't know that someone died right in front of the store? Nobody told you? I find that a little hard to believe.
Keep up the good work, Mr. Hastings.
Huh? What? Who is it?
Hello, sir. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Go ahead, but make it quick. Time is money, after all.
Hello, Mr. Monopoly.
Did you employ a man named Ennis Bowditch?
I did, yes. He only worked for me occasionally, but he was always punctual and performed his job well. I learned recently that he had been killed. It was a tremendous shame. Workers of his caliber are so hard to come by.
Do you have any information relating to Mr. Bowditch's murder?
I'm afraid not. The truth is, I knew very little about him. It's the same with most of my men. I have a business to run, you see. It affords me very little time to socialize.
So little time, so many high collars to purchase. Am I right?
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I believe I saw a headline in the newspaper recently mentioning that name, but I dismissed it as fear-mongering nonsense. There are more important things I need to worry about.
But the Justice Killer is directly responsible for the death of one of your workers.
Oh? Is that right? Well, there's nothing I can do about it. What my men get up to in their off time is none of my business.
Wow, this guy is even worse than you, Miles.
He is a pretty bad guy. But he's a businessman.
What does your work here involve?
I'm in charge of tracking and cataloging all the cargo that passes through here. I receive the shipping manifest and make sure that things get unloaded and sent to the right places.
And you do all this by yourself?
Well, of course not. I'm in charge of administration. A team of workers does all the heavy lifting.
Thank you for your time. I'll let you return to work.
Right you are.
I wonder if the Justice Killer is gonna kill you.
Keep up the good work, Mr. Hastings.
Well, the shipping office didn't reveal much. So where else should we go? Well, aren't these two very dapper-looking gentlemen? And it just dawned on me, after editing, that this painting is the creator's thumbnail thing on Twitter. I believe I've seen it before. I hope I'm not wrong, but it definitely rings a bell that I've seen it on his profile.
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies.
Begging your pardon, miss.
How can I help you, sir?
I understand you were involved with Ennis Bowditch.
Was involved, yes. I haven't spoken to him in nearly 2 months.
Oh, were you not aware of his death, then?
What? Ennis is dead?
Well, this is awkward.
Indeed. I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
How did it happen?
I'm afraid he was murdered.
Murdered? By who? And why?
Those are exactly the questions I'm trying to answer myself.
Oh, I see. Are you a detective?
A private investigator, yes.
Well, I'll answer what I can. If it helps any, that is.
I'm certain it will.
Awkward. Nobody told you, eh?
What was your relationship with Mr. Bowditch like?
Oh, well, it was nice at first. He was a proper gentleman-like. But then something changed.
Oh?
It's like I told Ruby. I think he might have got hit on the head at work, because he seemed to be a completely different person. He'd get angry for no reason. He even... Well, that bit's not important. At first, I thought he was just going through some rough times, but after a while I realized he'd changed for the worse. So I broke things off. He wasn't too happy about it, but I wasn't going to stick with a man like that.
Smart girl. But I wonder what happened. And she did mention Ruby, which is interesting.
This friend of yours, Ruby, did she know an MP named Percival McDonough?
I'm not sure. Ruby knows a lot of men.
Is that so?
Well, no, I don't mean... It's just... Oh, damn it all, me and my big mouth. She'll have my guts for garters now.
It's all right. No one's in trouble. But I think I'd like to speak with Ruby. Could you tell me where I can find her?
No. You see, she moves around quite a lot. Never in the same place for more than a night or two.
Right. I think she's given us a clear picture of what Ruby does for a living. Normally, I'd be all for pressing this girl more until she cracks, but I like her. I think we'll be able to find Ruby without causing her more discomfort.
Well, thank you for the information. You've been very helpful. Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
Justice Killer? Is that some kind of pesticide?
No, it isn't. Never mind.
She is not familiar.
You've been working here for quite a while, haven't you?
I have, yes. Coming up on 3 years. Been a real pleasure getting to know all the regulars. They've come to be sort of like a second family. By the way, whatever happened with you and your lady friend?
I beg your pardon?
Well, that nice lady you met in here a couple of times. Did it work out between the two of you?
Oh, that? No, that was strictly business.
Right. Well, if you see her, tell her I said hello.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you, sir.
I will tell her if I can find which bar she went to get sloshed.
You there! What are you doing?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find out about...
No time for that now! Get in here and shield your eyes!
I beg your pardon?
Just do it!
What's going on exactly?
Shh! Everything ready, Alex? 3, 2, 1, go! Amazing! It works! It works!
What works?
Etheric lamps! Our experiment was a success!
What exactly have we wandered into here, Miles?
History, it looks like.
Too bad you didn't get a chance to read that sign before their little experiment.
Remember safety first. Wear your goggles.
It's the bunch of crap they used to build street lamps with.
Cool.
So this is where all the lamps in the city come from. I can't believe I never bothered finding out before.
Well, you find out now, post-mortem.
I wouldn't get too close to that thing. It might end up turning you inside out.
Oh, Bill. I have fixed a steam engine, I think. I know my way around strange devices.
May I ask you a few questions?
Of course! What would you like to know?
Wow, you're an eccentric-looking dude.
You worked with a man named Burley Cause, is that right?
Yes, I heard he was killed. Such a senseless tragedy. It's a shame he missed out on our demonstration. He was really interested in etheric technology.
Wasn't he concerned about losing his job to these technological advances?
He had no reason to. It's been made clear to all the workers that there will always be a place for us, even if our jobs are made obsolete. Unlike some other places, we take care of our own here at the Lamplight Depot.
How noble. But I'm pretty sure he's full of more hot air than the HMS Lenore.
Is there anything you know about Mr. Caws's personal life that might be relevant?
I know he was married, but I don't believe he had any children. Oh, and he used to talk about his love for fishing.
Could you give me his home address? Perhaps his wife will be willing to speak with me.
Yes, certainly. He lived at 820 Orchard Avenue, apartment 2A.
Thank you for the information.
You know, people are much nicer at giving me addresses, not like Solomon Stitching. Which I guess it's the right thing to do. You shouldn't give away your employees' addresses. You guys are a massive violation to your employees' privacy. But still, I appreciate it.
Do you know any details about Mr. Caws's murder?
Unfortunately, I don't. The police were here asking questions, but they didn't give me many details.
Do you know of anyone who might have wanted him dead?
Not at all. Burley was very friendly, always treated everyone around here with respect. You know, it's sad to think that for all our leaps forward, we're still really just a bunch of savages.
No matter how many fancy eyeglasses you put on your face, we're still a bunch of savages.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I've read about it in the newspaper. A horrible business. It makes me wish we could install more street lamps to keep this city safer at night. Someday, I hope to realize that dream. Then we'll really deserve to be called Lamplight City.
You think brighter streets will stop serial murderers?
It's well known that crime rates are lower in Lyon and Worcester, and they have many more street lamps per square mile.
I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of wealth in those areas. Has to be all about the lighting.
Definitely.
You mentioned something about etheric lamps?
Yes! Weren't you paying attention to our demonstration? You have just witnessed history!
That's what I said.
What I witnessed was a blinding flash of light.
Exactly! That flash was the result of years of painstaking research and experimentation. It means that not only does ethericity exist, but it can be used as a source of illumination. If these experiments continue to be successful, as I suspect they will, we'll have etheric street lamps before the end of the decade. Imagine lamps that burn twice as bright, 4 times as long. Oh, this will change everything.
And if it's like anything else we've seen, it'll put a lot of people out of work, too.
Well, yeah, but we've discussed this before.
With all these promises of technological advancement, have the Redites given you any trouble?
Oh, those tech-fearing dolts. Yes, I'm sorry to say that we've gotten threats from them. They have yet to carry any out, which is unsurprising.
How so?
Groups like that are all bluster and no backbone.
I've seen some evidence to the contrary.
Is that right? Well, we've seen little beyond threatening letters, and I intend to make sure it stays that way.
You have any of these letters I might have a look at?
Yes, I have one. I'll give it to you before you leave.
Thanks. I expect it's gonna be horribly misspelled.
What is it you do here exactly?
Oh, several things. This is the main hub of the city's Department of Illumination. It's really just a grandiose way of saying that this is where all affairs related to street lamps and public lighting are taken care of. But, in addition to sending out lamplighters or mechanics to repair damaged lamps, we also do research into new methods of illumination. That's what my personal specialization is. I help develop and test more efficient ways of lighting our streets. I guess you could consider me a modern-day Prometheus. Yes.
More like an everyday pretentious.
Thank you. Your cooperation is much appreciated.
Happy to help. Here's that letter you were asking about.
To the engineers of chaos and destruction, you're working in direct opposition to the natural order of things. These so-called improvements will be the downfall of our society. If you do not cease your unholy experiments, the Redites will be forced to take action. You have been warned. P.F. Well, This is a new guy. It's not the one that was harassing the Harrisons, because he could not spell to save his life.
Now that's interesting. Whoever wrote this letter signed it with initials. They can't have been so stupid as to make themselves so easily identifiable, can they?
Oh, they can.
I wouldn't get too close to that thing.
Well, you guys seem to be, good chaps. Keep on innovating. Oh yeah, he gave me an apartment address. Well, we might as well go there. Oh, it's not going to be easy. That's why I'm not already showing up at the apartment.
And I thought the housekeeping in my apartment was bad. And I thought the house... There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
Yeah? May I help you, young man?
Hello, madam. My name is Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I have some questions about your neighbor.
You mean my former neighbor?
Yes. In any case, I'd appreciate it if you could help me with some information.
Nah, I don't think so. The last person to ask me about him was that awful policeman. I don't want to have to go through that again.
I'm sorry you had a bad experience, but I can assure you I won't give you a hard time.
Well, that's easy for you to say. But actions speak louder than words.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Is there anything I can do for you then?
Well, since you asked, my layabout husband is out wasting our retirement fund with his drinking. Go find him and bring him back here. Then maybe we can talk.
Oh, wonderful. Now we're playing babysitter.
You'll find him at the Silent Raven. It's not too far from here.
Yes, I know it.
Good. My husband's name is Kurt Williamson. You tell him his wife Ethel wants him home at once.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Williamson.
The Silent Raven. That shithole bar in Chumley. Oh, it's great to go back to that place. Wow, they really haven't cleaned the outline or anything.
Looks like they haven't bothered cleaning this up yet.
Yeah, exactly.
These advertisements are all at least 10 years out of date. It's an ad for whiskey. Or perhaps paint thinner. Sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference.
I think I see Kurt. Hello, ladies. And barmaid. The really not friendly barmaid.
Excuse me, barmaid?
Hi, what do you need?
I need you to, cut Kurt off of his drinking. He's had enough for tonight.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
What is that, some fancy drink concoction?
No. It's the name that's been given to a serial murderer here in the Chum.
I see. Never heard of him. And if he's smart, he won't show his face round here.
You know, this place suddenly feels just a little bit safer.
I don't know about that. I mean, someone got killed by him? No, not by him. Someone got killed outside your tavern, so it's not very safe.
How are things here now that the election hubbub has subsided?
Oh, right. I thought you looked familiar. You were the one in here asking about the fellow who was killed.
That's right.
Well, there hasn't been too much excitement since then. I've hardly had to toss anyone out, which is a right shame.
Why's that?
Kicking out a rowdy customer shakes things up a bit on a quiet night like this. Gets the blood flowing, you know?
You're pretty good at your job then. Dedicated workers. She loves her job.
What would a customer have to do to warrant being thrown out?
My general rule is if they're being a nuisance, they're out. If they try to pick a fight or are just being generally disrespectful, it's a one-way ticket to the pavement outside.
Good to know.
Good to know, because that's what's gonna happen to Kurt.
What was it you said a person had to do?
Pick a fight or just be bothersome enough that...
Right. Thanks. Do you know anything about the man sitting at that table over there?
Not really. He comes in here a few times a week, but he mostly keeps to himself. I see his type all the time, though. Older, probably retired and looking to escape his home life. I feel sorry for him, but that sort of customer is my bread and butter.
She speaks the truth.
I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yar.
Been pretty quiet in the streets of late, hasn't it, Bertie?
You noticed too? I thought it was just me.
I'm not complaining, mind you. It's nice to be able to go out and about without stepping over half the chum in the process.
Indeed. What do you reckon's the reason for it?
Not a clue. Can't be illness. We'd have heard something by now. Whatever it is, let's just hope it keeps up.
Excuse me, are you Kirk Williamson?
That's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
Oh yeah? What is it you want from me?
Ethel sent me to tell you she wants you to come home right away.
I should have known. I can't get away for more than a few hours before she's put the entire city on high alert. How much of my retirement fund did she waste on getting you to come down here?
I'm only doing this because I need some information.
The joke's on you then. You can just go back and tell her I'll come home when I'm damn well ready.
Why is it you're so averse to returning home?
I enjoy going out and having a good time. Is that so wrong?
Your wife told me she doesn't like you spending your money on drink.
What I spend my money on is none of her business, and even less of yours. What's this world coming to when a man can't even drink in peace without all his affairs shouted from the rooftops?
You know, this whole situation seems awfully familiar.
Shut up, Bill.
Listen, Mr. Williamson, I think I know what you're going through.
Oh yeah?
My wife and I were having a rough patch. I wasn't being honest with her, and it nearly drove us apart.
But you managed to fix things.
Yes, I was fortunate. I did the right thing before it was too late.
And what did you do?
I told her the truth that I hear the voice of my dead partner. I don't think so. I showed her a good time. I imagine that this is the one to go with, but I kind of want to get him thrown out. But then he's not gonna like me? You know what? Let's go for the funny stuff.
I told her the truth, that I hear the voice of my dead partner.
Fordham! Come again?
My dead partner speaks to me, and it was driving me crazy. But telling my wife the truth fixed everything.
Right. You have a nice evening, Mr. Fordham. I'm just going to enjoy my drink alone, if you don't mind.
What about going home?
Don't you worry about that. I think you should be more concerned about getting home yourself.
Have you learned nothing, Miles? You're just asking for trouble. Now we have to figure out some other way to get Williamson back home.
Oh, don't worry, Bill. I have ideas.
Doesn't look like cleaning up is high on the list of priorities around here. There's got to be some way to get him back home. We just need to figure out the right thing to say. There's got to be some way.
Excuse me, barmaid?
Hi, what do you need?
What was it you said a person had to do to get thrown out?
Pick a fight or just be bothersome enough that other customers...
Right. I appreciate...
Yeah.
Alright, so let's find another way.
Never thought I'd see that.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, I could have chosen the easy way, but I want a fight. Of course, the general disturbance will do. So, since I can't talk to him again, let's talk to his wife again.
You again. Any luck with Kurt?
Not really. I tried persuading him, but he wasn't very receptive.
Yeah. Well, at this rate, he'll barge in here after midnight completely out of his gourd, singing that ridiculous song.
Song?
Yeah, some dreadful song he always loves belting out when he's had a few too many. Something about being down among the dead men.
Down Among the Dead Men? Why, that was one of my favorite drinking songs. Seems oddly appropriate now.
I wouldn't mind it so much if he could actually carry a tune, but it winds up sounding like a dying cat.
Right. I'll go and see if I have better luck with him.
Back to the bar.
Mr. Williamson?
Huh? What do you want?
Let's hope this works.
Here's a health to the Queen and a lasting peace. May faction end and wealth increase.
Come let us drink while we have breath, for there's no drinking after death. And he who would that health deny...
Oh, I can do things.
Down among the dead men, down among the dead men.
Hi, what do you need?
Down among the dead men, let him lie.
That man at the table's causing quite a racket. Don't you think he should be thrown out?
Maybe, but seeing as it was you who got him started, I've got half a mind to toss you out as well. As long as he shuts up in a bit, I'll let him have his fun. He's in here often enough. He's earned it.
Okay.
I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
It's time to escalate it.
Come let us drink while we have breath, for there's no drinking after death. And he who would that health deny, down among the dead men, down among the dead men, down among the dead men, let him lie.
I guess that did it.
All right, that's quite enough out of you.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Come on, both of yous. It's about time you went home, don't you think?
No, I'm fine. Just one more and I'll go.
I don't think so. Now come on, I'm not asking again. Ah, so nice when I get to do that.
You're welcome.
That barmaid has no sense of mirth. Well, guess it's time to be heading home. Have a good night, Mr. Fordham.
And you too, Kurt. I got an achievement for that. Down among the dead men. But now it's time to talk to your wife.
Ah, Mr. Fordham, thank you so much for getting Kurt back home.
Don't mention it. Now, would you be willing to answer some questions?
Why, yes, of course.
Good.
Tell me what you know about Burley Cause.
He and his wife hadn't been living next door very long, maybe 4 months or so. But I didn't talk to either of them very much. They weren't interested in being neighborly, I guess. It's a shame, really. Maybe if we had known one another better, something like this could have been prevented.
What happened on the day Mr. Cause was killed?
I was here, at home, doing my knitting as usual. All of a sudden, I heard a loud bang. It sounded like a gunshot. I went and knocked on Mrs. Cause's door, but there was no answer. I did notice a smell, though, like flowers. Something seemed wrong, so I decided to report the incident to the police. Not long after that, an officer showed up and started asking questions. Awful man he was, so rude. I could report him, but I forgot his name. I think it started with a P.
Parsons?
Yes, that's him. He called for some more officers and they got into the apartment. That's when I found out Mr. Cause had been murdered.
Where is Mrs. Cause now?
I don't know, with her mother maybe. That's usually how it goes.
You wouldn't happen to know where that is, would you?
Afraid not, but there is one other thing.
Yes?
Don't say I told you this, but, well, I used to hear the two of them through my wall. I tried ignoring it since it's really none of my business, but it became impossible.
What was it you heard?
I don't believe they had a happy marriage. They'd have awful fights a couple times a week.
What would they fight about?
Oh, all sorts of things. The worst one was when she discovered he was going to a brothel. I think he might have hit her on a few occasions, too, but I can't be certain. I hope you don't think me a horrible old gossip, but I thought you might like to know.
Not at all. I'm glad you told me. Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
You mean the serial killer who's been killing men in Chumley?
That's the one.
Nah, never heard of him.
What?
I'm just pulling your leg, Mr. Fordham.
I like this one. She's got spirit.
Unfortunately, I only know what I've read in the Gazette, but it's scary to think some maniac is loose on the streets doing such terrible things. And with Kurt going out by himself for hours at a time? Oh, I don't like it one bit.
Aw, she's just a nice old lady. She's concerned about her husband, and she means well.
How long have you been living here?
Well, Kurt and I moved in shortly after we were married, so it's been about 34 years.
Goodness, that's a long time to be living in one place.
Yes, well, the building may be a bit run down, and it gets colder than cold in the winter, but the rent has always been cheap. You can't really ask for much more than that.
I appreciate your time, Mrs. Williamson.
Have a good day, Mr. Fordham.
Take care of each other. You're nice people.